because I think sometimes when we talk about unity, we act as if our lack of unity is the problem.
Is the manipulation of the abuse of rank and file people by institutions and people at the top.
We've become disenfranchised with the idea of the truth.
Don't let old white guys speak for you.
Here in the United States, we are united by our pluralism. The plurals are many and often far between. From things like Republicans and Democrats to other more subtle differences such as whether or not pineapple goes on pizza, we Americans are to be united. The media we consume dissolves our unity through the weaponization of our differences. United pluralism is the foundation of the future. The idea of it is us versus them is becoming a relic of the past. It does nothing to promote humanity. Instead, it destroys what we have struggled for. United pluralism is the understanding of differences while maintaining respect for the unity of humanity. The people, not corporations nor governments, have the ability to construct this future. The governments and corporations are in tandem, a death spiral for the working class. They will continue to exploit our differences for their will, to divide us against each other. There was no corporation nor political parties involved in the invention and birth of our Constitution of this great nation. That division came after united pluralism.
Meaning implosion. With so much media around us with conflicting messages, there are so many interpretations of reality that audiences can't decide on truth. Now you can find literally any meaning you want online. And you can throw in a couple of other dozen sources which challenge it alongside. How are you meant to trust that? You can't. We don't as an audience. We've become disenfranchised with the idea of the truth.
When Bernie Sanders was talking about various universal ideas about how there should be welfare for people, how people should be helped, how people have basic rights, he was attacked from within his own party for not bowing around certain identity politics issues. Are those issues being used to mask and deflect corporate irresponsibility and a marauding pursuit of profit from corporations who don't give a shit about American people who identify in a multitude of ways?
Is the manipulation of rank and file people, the abuse of rank and file people by institutions and people at the top. And I think that you're right, that Bernie Sanders' appeal, as an example, was an appeal of, I am authentically speaking to the working class. Now, I think there was something that came up that was very, very disturbing in that campaign that I've mentioned only a couple times before. But if folks remember some of the details of that campaign, there was this criticism of Bernie Sanders. And look, I'm not here to just, defend Bernie Sanders, say he's perfect and the like. I was his speechwriter, but he and I, we've gone back and forth, and so I'm not here to just say we ran a perfect campaign. But what I can say is this: there was a moment in the campaign where Bernie Sanders was being criticized for the argument was he was putting forward universalist ideas on universalist economic and environmental ideas, and that universalism, the implication was that universalism was somehow undermined or was offensive to the idea of identity. It was downplaying race, it was downplaying gender in favor of class. That was the argument. And here is my take on that, which is to say, what are we focused on? Are we focused on rhetoric or are we focused on outcomes? Yeah. Because if we're focused on outcomes, various universalist policies, Medicare for all is a good example, disproportionately benefit people of color because of the iniquities in our current economic system. My point being that what we have seen is the weaponization of identity against universalism in the economic sphere. And that is both a problem and it's inaccurate. It's not like there's race and gender and then there's economics. They're all intertwined. And I think that Bernie Sanders was putting forward the same ideals as Martin Luther King. I mean, Martin Luther King, if you look at all of Martin Luther King's rhetoric, it was all about universalism. It was all about we are in this together. And I think to go back to what we started talking about at the beginning of this conversation, the weaponization of our differences It doesn't mean that we shouldn't honor our diversity and honor our differences. But when the diversity and the differences are weaponized against a universal agenda that lifts everybody up, that becomes the impediment to actually doing what needs to be done. And I think it's fair to ask politicians like Bernie Sanders to, and I don't think he ever did this, but I think it's fair to ask any politician, don't pretend race and gender and sexual orientation and the like don't exist. It is unacceptable to pretend that we live in a so-called colorblind society. That is horseshit, okay? But it's also fair to say, don't use identity differences as a weapon against universalist policies. And I think why is identity used as a weapon against universalist policies? The answer is because that serves the corporate master. I go back to this idea that JP Morgan, Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, they are not offended by a debate over identity and culture. In fact, that's why you see them leaning in. Right? It's in my view, it's not authentic. When you see, a Wall Street bank wave a pride flag, it's not because they love basic civil rights. It's motivated by the fact that it doesn't ask them to sacrifice one thing on the economy, and it serves as a distraction for the popular anger at them for instance, foreclosing on 10 million people back in the financial crisis.
The things that I keep going back to is that I feel like we're in this place where we're almost rooting for our politicians like football teams. So even if they're like a losing team every single time, we'll still root for them because they're our team. And I think that if, as a country, we can look at each other and say, it's not me against you, it's us against the problem. And how do we unify? Because I think sometimes when we talk about unity, we act as if our lack of unity is the problem and then we don't address the actual problem, and that's how we don't move forward. So if we can continue to say to each other, yes, there is a problem, this is the problem, and if it can be us against this problem rather than saying like, hey, the problem is that we're just not together.
I took to the streets in a very diverse area to see how Americans would describe America and their pride in it. And if there's one lesson to take away, marginalized communities, minorities, don't let old white guys speak for you. Happy 4th! You have big plans? Full time American. That sounds like you guys proud to be American? Yeah, there you go. God bless. Have a good 4th, man. Let me ask you, proud to be American?
Proud to be American. Well, at least I know I'm free.
You proud to be an American?
Yes, sir.
You know what? That's all we're asking people. So, greatest country in the world?
No.
All right, God bless, man. All right, so Fate and Laura.
Yes.
Right.
All right, so 4th of July, obviously I see the hat.
Yes.
Let me ask you, are you both, would you consider yourself proud to be American?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Absolutely. Why?
Because
Freedom.
I'm gonna tell you like this. We were homeless for a long time.
A long time.
And
you wouldn't recognize us.
Really?
If it wasn't for the fact, the determination, and some of the people out here helping us, giving us this, that, and the other every now and then, man, we would have drowned.
Yeah.
And God,
Still be out here.
we were blessed by an American to get moved from here to Waterloo, Iowa, with jobs.
And do you feel like over there in Iowa, I mean, obviously it's incredibly white because if you just look at Iowa, you know, history and farmers, and it's changed a little bit. It crosses racial boundaries. People are nice there.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, it's a
They're
blue collar.
beautiful
Waterloo
people.
is a blue collar state.
Right.
City.
Yeah.
Blue collar.
Lot of
When it comes to blue
industries, lot
collar,
of plants.
when it comes to blue collar, man, sometimes people they don't think about anything else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the way the world should be.
Yeah.
You know, when you start thinking about color and all that kind of stuff, it changes.
Yeah.
Because then what people start thinking is that their blood is different. Their blood is a different color than yours.
But I'll tell you, we have met some beautiful people all the way from here to Iowa, and it's just amazing. And I'll tell you, and anyone out here that we're close to that took us under their wing, they knew we were homeless. the security, Patagonia, they
Like,
were
we
all
literally
here
used to
for
push-
us. You know, because of the generosity and because of the encouragement and just because of the goodness in these people's hearts.
Yeah, that's what makes people
We're
proud
back,
to be American.
and we're back strong, and
that's what America.
This is us.
That's what America's supposed to always be about.
This
It's
is
supposed to
us.
be looking after your fellow man.
That's-
I can't change the next person. I can't change the way they think, how they feel, what they say, how they say it. Because if I'm not a different person, then why should I ask somebody else to be different?
Comes down to personal responsibility and accountability.
accountability.
Even if other people are bad, they're going to be bad
right.
people.
That's right.
What's your name, man?
I'm Sinclair.
Sinclair?
Yes.
Let me ask you. So 4th of July, you guys have this tradition that you do. It sounds that's what a lot of Americans do.
Yeah.
Question we're asking everyone is: you proud to be American?
Yes.
Yeah, you are. What makes you proud to be American?
Proud to be American just because, I believe this is the only country that allows you to do exactly what you want to do.
This is what we're asking everyone here. Are you proud to be American?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What makes you proud to be American?
You can walk around. You can do things like this on a Saturday without any worries, without any people telling you what to do or where you're supposed to be. You have your own free time to do things, and you can live and make money how you want.
What's your name?
Joseph.
Joseph. Let me ask you this then: Are you proud to be American?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Being proud to be American isn't about our past as a country, it's about the opportunity to change the future. America is the most influential country on the planet. Our culture touches every single continent. Our pride isn't oblivious to our flaws, so stand together with our differences in a united pluralism and tell them these windows is dirty as hell and we're not going to take it anymore.